Hi there, Miranda Alt here with Keller Williams Success Real Estate and the Miranda Alt team with your Monday market update for Monday, February 13th, 2023. Thanks for watching. A quick look at your McHenry County numbers for the last 7 days. We had 97 new listings. We had 117 under contract, 48 closed, 18 price changes, 35 on the private network, and 1 expired. So let's look at those numbers a little bit more deeply. So 97 new listings. That's up from last week where we only had 87. The week before that, we saw 96. So pretty much on trend, but we are moving in the right direction in terms of number of homes being listed in our area. Under contract, although, is 117. So we had 117 homes go under contract, 97 new listings. Now, and keep in mind, some of those new listings were actually properties that were already on the market. They were canceled and then relisted. Sometimes as agents, we do that in order to have our properties, hit people's searches again. So that's kind of a tactic. So that's throwing off our numbers a little bit. So we still don't have enough homes being listed for how many buyers there are out there in the market. So we had 117 under contract. We had 107 the week before that, 107 as well the week before that. Looking at the closed listings, we had 48 closed listings. That is low. The week before that, so last week we saw 55 closed listings. The week before that, 63. Now, something to keep in mind with this is that 7 weeks ago was Christmas, and the average closing takes between 30 and 60 days. So if Christmas was 7 weeks ago, the reason we're seeing low closed numbers right now is still because how many people were putting a home under contract the week of Christmas? Not a whole lot. Some, for sure, obviously, some, but just not a super common week to be putting a home under contract. We had 18 price changes, which was actually way less than we've seen the last 2 weeks. We saw 39 the week before, or last week, and we saw 32 the week before that. So if we're not seeing a lot of price changes, that tells me that homes are selling at their current list price. So either they're being better priced the first time, or there are more buyers that are willing to pay the original list price. So we still are looking at low inventory as a factor in all of these numbers. Private network was 35. That's pretty much what we've seen recently, and only 1 expired. So that's pretty much on trend for what we've been seeing as well. So what are we looking at for the trends in the real estate market right now? The 3 I's that we've been talking about: inventory, interest rates, and inflation. They're all related and they all play into our housing market. So right now we're seeing high interest rates have been stable since the first of the year, mid 6s, right? I just looked up, according to Google today, the average 30-year fixed rate is 6.896. Now, they went up last week. Last week they were at about 6.6. So interest rates have been fairly steady, though. They haven't been skyrocketing and they haven't really been dropping. They've been pretty consistent since the beginning of the year. And so, this is kind of where we're landing with the new normal. So we're seeing a lot of buyers returning to the market as the interest rates have stabilized, and they've sort of come to the terms that with the fact that interest rates are going to be in the 6s for a while. Now, keeping that in mind, Barry Habib, who is my favorite economist to follow, he's been the most accurate. I've talked about him a lot. He won the golden, the Crystal Ball Award from Zillow for 3 years in a row because he came the closest to predicting the future. Obviously he's not exactly right, but he's pretty close. And he says that May 11th is going to be the big day. That's the day that the new inflation number for May 11th of 2023 is going to replace the May number of 2022. And so that is going to show that inflation is coming down and drastically then. And he thinks that mortgage rates are going to drop, and he thinks we're going to be in the high 4s. I don't know about that, but we'll see. It'd be interesting to see. So May 11th is the big date. So interest rates are holding steady right now in the mid 6s, and buyers are coming to terms with that. They're returning to the market, knowing that they actually have some negotiating power because homes are sitting on the market a little bit longer. We're seeing market time increase. We're seeing prices going up actually across 90% of the country. According to MarketWatch.com, 90% of metro areas are seeing prices rise. But prices in some of the most expensive housing markets like California are dropping. So home price growth has decelerated, though, due to the interest rates. So they're still going up. They're just not going up as fast as they did in 2022. So let's get back to our 3 I's, right? So interest rates, we talked about that. They're holding at went up last week, which is a bummer, but they didn't go up a ton. They went up at 0.2 of a point. And always keep in mind, it's always kind of tricky to quote interest rates. Let me do a little sidebar on that, because you might be hearing 6.86 and then you go to your lender and you say, oh, I want the, Miranda Alt said 6.86. And then they're going to pull your credit and look at your income and go, your rate's going to be 7.3. Well, your credit is going to play into that. Your income, your debt to income ratio is going to play into that. So it's always really kind of walking a tightrope to quote any rate, because no one's rate is going to be the same as somebody else's. If you have excellent credit, obviously your rate might be lower than 6.86. And if you have meh credit, you might get a higher rate. So let's just keep those things. That's my little disclaimer about rates. Okay. So we talked about interest rates. Inventory is still very low. So we might have new homes and more homes hitting the market, but we still don't have enough homes hitting the market for how many buyers are returning to the market. So we still are seeing those inventory numbers extremely low, especially in the Midwest. All of the articles that I've been reading, every single one says, yes, the South saw really big price increases over the last 2 years. So we're seeing some prices come down there. We're seeing the market, not be as, it's decelerating. It's not as active in different parts of the country. Those are mostly the coasts, the West Coast, California, which is extremely expensive. I mean, everybody knows that. And Washington and Oregon, those places are all very, very, very expensive to live. And so the Midwest is more affordable, especially when you higher interest rates. The Midwest is more affordable. So we're going to it's actually good to live in the Midwest for once. Yay. So take that as a win. So we're talking about inventory and the inflation. Let's talk about that for a moment. It does appear as though inflation is curbing. Inflation is subsiding a little bit. It's still too high. The federal government still needs to fight inflation. And actually some of the numbers that are coming in tomorrow, the CPI is likely to predict that that inflation is coming down, but the markets are likely to respond not very favorably because the inflation is not coming down fast enough. It's not coming down, at where the expectations are. So we might see the markets fluctuate. This is all according to Barry Habib. I'm not an expert on this stuff, so don't quote me if I'm wrong. But Barry Habib was talking about how tomorrow we're going to get some of these big reports, and the market might respond poorly to inflation reports being that they're coming down, but not coming down enough. So it's the inflation numbers are being kind of stubborn. So inflation still chugging along, still a problem, but May 11th, we'll see. May 11th, that's going to be a great week. We'll be heading into spring. We'll have some warmer temperatures. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. Get out and enjoy this beautiful sunny day if you're here in the Midwest. It is a gorgeous day. We're going to have some nice weather this week. And sidebar on this too, when we have nicer weather like this, housing does well. Isn't that funny? But if we have nice weather, we tend to sell more houses. So that's a fun thing too. If you have any questions, if you need anything, if you're thinking about buying or selling, you're thinking about selling your house, please call me. We do need more homes to sell. It is a great time to be a seller. It's a great time to be a buyer too. I think once those interest rates come down in May, if they really do on May 11th, man, it is going to be a feeding frenzy. Again, it's going to be like chum and shark infested waters. If you are a buyer, get something under contract before that and then refinance your rate later. You can always do that. We say, marry the house, date the rate. You can do that. And, if you have any questions about any of that, please reach out. I'm at 815-529-0777, or you can always reach me at mirandaaltteam@gmail.com or message me here on social media. Hope you have a great rest of your Monday. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.